In this video, I'll be talking about traditional and authentic assessment. Traditional assessment focuses on learners' ability of memorization and recall, which are lower level of cognition skills. Best examples of traditional assessment are paper and pencil tests or quizzes. These are standardized written assessment wherein it is given as one-time shot. Students are given limited answers to choose from and time-bounded. Moreover, traditional assessments are indirect and inauthentic measures of students' learning outcomes. Authentic assessment is sometimes synonymously known as performance-based assessment, which gives more opportunities for students to be creative and realistic on their works. However, authentic assessment and performance-based assessment are not completely the same. What is authentic assessment? Methods that emphasize learning and thinking, especially higher order thinking skills such as problem solving strategies. Tasks that focus on students' ability to produce a quality product or performance. Disciplined inquiry that integrates and produces knowledge rather than reproduces fragments of information others have discovered. And meaningful tasks at which students should learn to excel. Authentic assessment challenges that required knowledge in good sense and good judgment. A new type of positive interaction between the assessor and assessee. An examination of differences between trivial school tasks, for example, giving definitions of biological terms, and more meaningful performance in non-school settings, for example, completing a field survey of wildlife. Involvement that demystifies tasks and standards. Now let's talk about the dimensions of authenticity. That is the context of the assessment, the role of the student, and the scoring. Under the context of the assessment, it must be realistic activity or context. The task is performance-based, and the task is cognitively complex. Under the role of the student, a defense of the answer or product is required. The assessment is formative, and the students collaborate with each other or with the teacher. Under the scoring criteria are known or student developed. Multiple indicators or portfolios are used for scoring. The performance expectation is mastery. Now let's talk about the best uses of authentic assessment. So first, authentic assessment are direct measures to use the acquired knowledge and skills in the real world. For example, science experiment, developing feasibility study, or calculating savings. Number two, authentic assessments capture constructive nature of learning. Constructivists believe that learners should create knowledge and meaning based from schemata. Number three, authentic assessments integrate teaching, learning, and assessment. Students applying meaningful concepts. Best exemplified example is problem solving and decision making skills. Number four, authentic assessments provide multiple paths to demonstration. Students demonstrate what they have learned in their most creative and original ways considering the criteria for good performance set by the teacher. So based on the following attributes that will be shown later, we will differentiate traditional and authentic assessment. Now for assessment activity, traditional assessment is selecting a response, while authentic assessment is performing a task. For nature of activity, traditional assessment is contrived activity, while for authentic assessment, its activity emulates real life. For cognitive level, traditional assessment is knowledge or comprehension, while authentic assessment is application, analysis, or synthesis. For development of solution, traditional assessment is teacher structured, while authentic assessment is student structured. For objectivity of scoring, traditional assessment is easily achieved, while authentic assessment is difficult to achieve. For evidence of mastery, traditional assessment is indirect evidence, while authentic assessment is direct evidence. In the classroom, when the teacher gives a specific task to students to accomplish, it is an intended learning outcome that must be done after the instruction. Every classroom activity is a necessity to enrich the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domain of each learner. The teacher can monitor that there is progress to students through administering thorough assessment procedure. Assessment can be done formally and informally. It can be done in a paper and pen activity and much more efficient if there is a corresponding performance activity given. Upon teacher's assessment, rubric is needed to give grades to the work done by the students. Immediate feedback to students on their work is significant for their improvement. Assessment focuses to deliver a quality check, both the best and needs improvement output of the students. It means that through assessment, it should encourage the learners to do more in the academy, opening tons of opportunities for them to innovate to meet the desired learning outcomes set by the teacher in the course. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have learned something from this lesson.